Welcome to The Power and the Pain, where your past isn't your prison.
It's the fuel for your purpose.
I'm Greg Pihs, combat veteran, NLP trainer, and your guide to turn trauma into triumph.
And I'm Catherine, truth teller, mirror holder, and voice for the breakthrough hiding in your breakdown.
This is The Power and the Pain. Let's go. Welcome back to The Power and the Pain. Today's topic is performance to presence. And Catherine brought this topic for us today. And I think it's really powerful looking back on past chapters and things that I went through. I remember chapters where things were really like foggy in the sense of everyone's chanting, do this, do this, do this. And, you know, when you're unaware of what the path is, and you're looking to people that have created success, and then you start making these comparisons, and inside of like, this person says go left and this person says never go left. They're both more successful than me. What do I do? So it can get really confusing. And we've talked about that topic of fake it till you make it and act as if. And really, I feel like I want to hear more about what your thoughts are on this, Catherine. And like my thoughts on this are act as if is like, how do we get to that place where we can already take action in the direction we want to become, but we haven't been there yet? So like that, when act as if is like, how do we anchor ourselves to be able to neurologically accept and become someone we have never been? Mm-hmm. Whereas when I look at performance to presence, I'm looking at internal validation versus external validation. That's where my mind goes to on this. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on this topic.
I love that. And I feel like you also hit something there because there are so many differing opinions about things, and what if they're all right, you know? Yeah. So that's the part of bringing it internally. I love that because I think that presence is really kind of unhooking from performance and allowing ourselves to be with to lead with authenticity and to lead from that place of peace and knowing that we're on that right path. But then also getting there action is what creates clarity. And so it almost feels like a performance. And I guess maybe there are, I was actually kind of noticing this about myself when you were talking about that I have kind of a negative connotation for performance or to perform because it feels fake. And so that was where, you know, when we were kind of talking about fake it till you make it and how that kind of plays into this, is that I don't desire to be fake, but then also where's that window of the new identity taking place and the old one breaking away? Yeah. Because that's presence. Correct. And becoming, I mean, you use the word becoming, and again I go back into that internal piece as like when we're looking at like how do we do this, those listening, like how do we do this, how do we become? Well, I mean, if your measuring stick is external, now by the way, like I think it's safe to say that, just my opinion, let me talk about it, and that's why everything's right, nothing's wrong. I think it's very safe to have external feedback, opinion, validation, because if not, what guards us from being a narcissist? If it's all internal, because, you know, a narcissist just lives in their world and no one else's world matters. So like we definitely, I would say like balance this, right? I want to check outward as well. Like, does this make sense to this person too? And then, but what amount are we, like some of us are in the beginning of my journey, I know it was too much was outward. Mm-hmm. So it was only so if everyone else said it was so. So if they don't see me as that, then I'm not that. So if it's external and I am to become, then I must perform so that others can validate it so that I can become. But if it's internal, there is still a performance, but the performance is checked inside for the purpose of becoming, so I no longer perform. Okay. That's good. Yeah. I like that.
and internal, like, what is this? Like right now we're just kind of, I'm just throwing out like words, right? Like internal check, external check. If we're going to internally check something, like in theory, I'm going to suggest, this is not my specialty, not trained in this, but like, just like if we're going to do an internal check, in theory, you're going to have some type of internal agreement checklist. Or what are you checking? Or, I mean, it could be like, because if not, then like we're checking, is this good to go? Well, then it's always going to be an in the moment decision. Like, what's our true north going to be? But we have to decide that. We get to choose it, and then I think have to choose it if we're ever going to have internal validation. So when we look at that internal validation, like, what is our true north? Yeah. What is our morality? What is important to us? Our values? And then we can look inside and say, am I honoring this thing?
Yeah.
Am I doing my best? By the way, 4 agreements. Have you read that one?
I have read that one. Okay.
Am I doing my best? That's one of the agreements. By the way, listeners, if you haven't read that book, great read, short read, easy read. And one of the agreements is, always do your best. Because at the end, if you've performed your best, if there was nothing else left, the result just is.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
And so how do you know you've done your best?
Yeah.
How do you internally check? So I think a lot of this, like when we're going from performance to presence, it might even start with, for a lot of people, is creating that checklist.
Yeah. Well, and also, since you mentioned the 4 agreements, one of them is don't make assumptions. I've made a lot of assumptions previously, and I think that is actually a great, talking about presence, that's a way to be fully present, is to not make assumptions, because assumptions are mine, and that's me assuming that something is going on that may or may not be what the reality is if I don't check it.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I think that is I loved the book to begin with, but I think that's another way of kind of bringing it back in to check that validation within, set that.
Yeah.
Am I heading in that direction? And then if something feels off, check it.
Yep. Have we ever talked about, I don't think I've talked about on this podcast. Have we ever talked about, like, if I said it appears to be, does that? Mm-mm. Okay. All right. So, I had an experience in the military in which I learned this term. Nonetheless, something is either confirmed or it appears to be. And until it's confirmed, it only appears to be. Like, no matter how factual it appears to be, until it has been confirmed, it only appears to be. So I adopted this from the military, and me and my wife use this language. So if we say it's factual, then we know it's factual with each other. And then if we're not sure, the words "it appears to be" will be used somewhere in there, and that just cues in, like, I haven't validated this, but here's where like, hey, do we have milk? Last time I checked, it appeared we had about a half gallon. Like, just that word, like, cues the other person in, like, okay, I should probably check if I really want to know.
Yeah.
Versus if I'm like, no, we're good on milk. Well, then it's understood. Like, that's been validated. Which, since we're on the 4 agreements, and this book seems to be playing very well to this topic, the impeccability of the word.
Yeah.
If we don't know it to be true, who cares what you say to other people? Your neurology is listening. Yeah. So if you don't know it to be true and you say it to be true, your RAS is going to start looking for evidence. Yeah. Which goes back into the assumption piece. Yeah. And being present with ourselves. This is huge. This is good.
Well, and I think that too, with being impeccable with your word, that's integrity. Mm-hmm. Because, and I mean, I guess that people can have different definitions. Of that.
Yeah, it's a label.
But to me, it is doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, and then if not, be saying something that, hey, I'm not going to be able to do what I was doing, or just kind of living in this true to your word. Yeah. And, I've started to do it with myself, of like, even when I set my alarm, am I setting my alarm when I'm actually going to get up? Now I do, right. But sometimes it was like, if I hit the snooze button, then I was like, what am I doing? I'm not being integrous with myself. Yeah. You know?
I love that you brought it to that. When I first read that book, like I digested the 4 agreements a certain way, surface level, and it was exceptional for me. And that's one of the books I've revisited more than a handful of times over the years. And so as you go back, you get a different perspective on it. And man, it's gotten deep. Like the further I've reread that book, and it goes internal eventually, you know, as we get deeper. And that's a big piece. Like when I look at that agreement at the deepest level, it's all internal.
Yeah.
So like something that, like an example that I share, a metaphor that I share, is like if you are not, if someone was not eating healthy, and then they are not exercising, and they are not practicing any form of healthy sleep hygiene, and they keep saying that they want to be healthy. Like the impeccability of the word is like, you don't want to be healthy. Like I understand that there's some lust to this idea, but you want to enjoy your life, like the impeccability of the word. And like, and if you allow yourself, like if you actually tried to say to yourself, you probably would actually, it would probably rupture the problem, because you'd probably just start working out with that impeccability. Because you're like, oh, no, I actually do want that more. Oh, I do need to do these things then. But we play this game with ourselves where we live a certain way, and then we tell it once because it's easy to say it that way. So we don't have to explain it to others. Like, hey, I haven't had the discipline yet to start. Nobody wants to say that when people are like, how you doing? Okay. So like we start saying, and then we forget, and then our neurology fucking hears us talking. It starts believing it. Like we tell the story one too many times, and that impeccability of the word to self. And then we really believe, like we really want to, like we just have a busy schedule. It's hard. It's expensive. You know, the gym's too far, and your RS will find all the reasons for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the impeccability of like being real candid with yourself with all the things. I mean, and it's a journey. Like I'm on it. But like when you say to yourself, like the impeccability of the word is like when you start getting like very, very granular with it, like I want money. I mean, if we get like a little pretty granular with it, we might say like, so what are you saying there, Greg? Well, I would suggest I don't want money. Okay. I want financial freedom. I want time freedom. Yeah. But like money, like when the word money to me, that label, I think of green paper and currency.
Yeah.
If you have assets, that's a very dangerous place for it to be sitting. I would be looking at businesses, real estate, precious metals, you know, the impeccability of the word. Like if I had a whole bunch of money, I would then have to go figure out how to invest in these things. No, I want those things. The impeccability of the word. I don't really give a shit about the money, but I do want all the things the money can buy. I do want all the securities that money can buy. I don't really give a shit about the money. If I had it, I would spend it as quick as I could to get the things that I actually want.
Yeah.
I wouldn't keep it. Like it's depreciating by the minute.
Yeah.
But that impeccability of the word with what we're saying we want. And again, we have to go internal, and then we have to find, it's that self-discovery journey of finding what's important to us and knowing where that true north is and what we're going to. While we're on the 4 agreements, we got one left, so let's go over it. The 4th agreement is, however he said it, don't take anything personally. Is that how he said it? But that's the gist of it. That agreement, there's everything's right and nothing's wrong. So this will be confusing if we will. As when I first listened to it, when I first read the book, that surface level external realization of like, someone calls you an asshole, like don't take it personally. And we all know that, even though we don't apply it all the time. But we know it. Like no, most people, I think we all know that. And then when I went, like, as I went further and got a little deeper, I started realizing like, and I mean, this is going to sound crazy. But what if I said, like, if someone lifts you up, don't take it personally. Like receive it, but don't take it personally. Perception is projection. Like you walk through the parking lot, the first guy's like, you're an asshole. He's an asshole. The second guy's like, Greg, you are so amazing. It's such a blessing to see you today. They are so amazing. They are a blessing. That is a projection of their day. So receive it. Don't receive the first one. Receive the second one. Don't take it too personally. That's not you. That's them, actually.
Yeah.
And if we actually do this, well, then we can start seeing who our people are, because people are showing us exactly who they are.
Yeah. There's a quote, when someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Yeah. But yeah, whatever someone is saying to you, but you to them, me to you right now, I only know to say outside what's inside. So like everything that I'm projecting is from my world. So that was huge for me, because like the realization was like, once upon a time, and performance to presence. Let's talk about, let's tie this fourth one in. Once upon a time, I was looking for everyone else to say, you're awesome. Well, if I don't take that personally, what happens is, if I do take it personally, then I'm lifted up by it. Okay, sweet. Whew, I made it. I'm awesome. If I take it personally. If that's true, what happens in the absence of external validation? Phew, drop. So if I don't take it personally, receive compliments. Why not? Like a lot of us reject them. I still work on this. I like immediately, here's how I take a compliment. I pay it right back really quickly. Yeah. But I work on it, like, and you'll notice like sometimes I stop for a second and I'll literally pause what I'm doing and I'll just say thank you. And that's just my mind being like, no, just receive this. They're giving this to you. Okay. With that, when someone lifts us up, receive it. Thank you. Feel it. Don't internalize it as you, because it has nothing to do with you yet. This is their model of the world I actually just shared with you. That's feedback. So you now know more about this person. This is probably someone you may like to have part of your tribe. And then I am not elevated. I receive it. I have presence with it, but I'm not elevated by it. So in its absence, it's okay, because I know that was them. It wasn't me the whole time. So when it goes away, I didn't lose any of me. They walked away. It was them the whole time.
Yeah.
That was a very nicely unplanned tie-in to the 4 agreements.
I like that.
Yeah.
As we said, this is going to go where it's meant to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was powerful. What are your, I think we're at a good spot. I mean, for everyone listening, if you haven't read the 4 agreements, definitely check it out. I love audiobooks. And I mean, me personally, 99% of my books are consumed through audio, unless it's literally they don't have an audiobook. And then I love getting the hard copy and using it as like a reference, highlighting things. Now, if you like reading a book, read the book, okay? I'm going to suggest to everyone, listening to an audiobook controls you're controlling the mind. Even if you're not intently listening to the book, your unconscious mind is never not listening. So I love audiobooks because it's like a freebie for programming. Like it's like a cheat code for me.
it's like installing a program.
I mean, and it's not that simple, but yeah, it's also that simple as long as you keep doing it. I've done in the past, and just last night as I was laying down going to sleep, I was listening to a Napoleon Hill meditation, and I thought last night it came back in my head, and I thought, I was like, oh, I need to do this again. I create meditations, we'll call them, like hypnotic inductions for myself, to myself, with my voice, record them, and then loop them for 8 hours and listen to them while I sleep. And I haven't done that in a little while. Last night, I literally was like, oh, I need to do one of those. Because that unconscious mind is listening. So it is getting installed. With that, whether you like the hard book or the audio, check out the 4 agreements. And as you're going through those 4 agreements, look at it from a lens of, how does this allow me to become more present? How does this allow me to become the version of myself that I want to be? So this all goes internal. and use this book as a guide. It was unplanned, but exceptional book to guide us through this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I have the book at home. Clearly, I've read it a couple of times as well. But even this morning, I was actually having a conversation with my sister, and I was talking about personal responsibility and how sometimes I can take a little bit too much personal responsibility, which is me taking things personally.
Oh, yeah.
And so I may be revisiting that myself just to kind of feel into that. And then the other thing, I'm going to reference another book, but it's a kid's book. I think it's called You Are Special by Max Lucado, but he talks about that. And it's that idea of not taking, they have gray dots and then they have gold stars.
Okay.
And so like these little Wimmick people, which are like these little, dolls. I don't really know exactly.
Yeah. These
but
characters,
these characters, avatars, whatever you want to call them. But they walk through life, and like people, if they like what you did, you get a gold star. If they didn't like what you did, then you get a gray dot.
Yeah.
But then there was like one Wimmick that had nothing on them. And it was because like when people would try, then they would be like, oh, you have nothing on you, so let me put you a gold star. And then the gold star wouldn't stick. And so then they would try to give them a gray dot because they couldn't get a gold star, but nothing would stick to them because they weren't the external,
validation.
Yeah.
That's good. What's the name of the book?
I believe that it is called You Are Special by Max Lucado.
Okay, because that's one I'll definitely share with Xander.
Yeah, it's a really cute book.
Kids stories, I think we've talked about this before, but to say kids stories, like kids movies, I love, a lot of the kids movies. The metaphors that are in them are so exceptional.
I know, we've talked about this.
Yeah, and it's presented like we're all kids at heart.
Yeah.
And so like you're just playing along, you're just getting brought into the movie, but you're getting a download.
Yeah.
I love kids movies. Okay. We're gonna leave you guys with that today. There was a powerful episode around becoming. Being present with who you are and becoming who you want to be versus trying to figure out how to perform as who you want to be. Instead of making it outward and action-based, what internal agreements do you need so that you just unconsciously do this because this is who you are. This is who you've become. We'll see you guys next week on the next episode.
If this hit you deep, trust that.
Your pain has power, and your story isn't over.
Follow, share, and send this to someone who you think might benefit.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Catherine.
And this was The Power and the Pain. Keep stepping into your power.